how do you start angel investing, and do you need a certain amount of money to get started?
No. Well, how do you start? Well, of course, you do need to have money, right? Because you can't just invest uh, with no money. That's the first rule is to have some money. Um, so yeah, how do you start? That's a good question. In angel investing is not hard, right? The only way to angel invest is to convince the founders to take your money, really, right? So if you live in the valley, right, you probably know a bunch of people starting companies, and they all need to raise capital. Not all of them, but at some point you probably need to raise some capital, right? So there's it's a big topic actually. Like if we spend quite some time. I think the best way to start angel investing is there's two ways. I'll just draw it up. I think number one, you need to have some superpower, and I'll probably refer this term quite a bit actually. You need to have some superpower, like what, like there's a reason why they should take your money, I guess, right? When you go talk to a founder, like, why should I take your money? And what's superpower you could have? You could either say, I'm going to be able to try to help you on marketing, right? I can try to help you on connections, your network, right? Whatever you can to help the founder. Or if the founder is a friend of yours, right, he just wants your support, right? Or there's maybe some startup that just wants some capital. Maybe you know a bunch of people that also have bigger checks for them to have access to, right? So whatever reason, have some reason why they should take your money in the first place, I guess. That's probably the number one thing. And of course, you need to find those founders that are raising, right? And that's all about networks too, because there's no board, there's no website. You just need to go talk and meet a lot of people. So if you're in the valley, it's probably not that hard. Your friends, your colleagues, there's going to be a lot of people. If you just hang out, go to meetups, do different things, you'll meet founders for sure. And you don't really, and this is probably a myth, right? People feel like people are rich, that's why they can do angel investing. My first checks are $5,000, and I've actually saw people doing 1,000 or 2,000. I don't think you can do tens and hundreds, because even a legal fee will, even cover the legal fee to your signature. Right? So it makes zero sense. But if you can add value, and if you can be helpful, and even if you're, and plus you're a nice person, like it's not that hard, I think, to convince some founder to take your money. It's very, very hard to convince the ones that can have all the options overall. But it's not that difficult, I think. Yeah.
Great. Thanks, Tim. And following up on investing, what are some hot areas in software engineering today? And is there a certain product or certain technology that you prefer to invest in over another?
Yeah. There's a lot of hot areas, and it's impossible to cover all of them, because like I said, investing in companies is a huge spectrum, right? Software, by the way, is everywhere now, right? Your software no longer is just the Microsofts, no longer just the Googles, right? Every company has software. So even consumer packaged goods or any sort of, your apps, they're all software everywhere. So any investments tend to have some software. And so hot areas, like my focus is enterprise. So I focus a lot of machine learning, AI, and there's just a whole lot of different kinds of investments right now in AI and ML, actually. AI is going to actually automate a lot of things. I've made some investments, AI automating, not just driving cars, but like writing content, movie shooting, virtual models, right? They can write stories, they can write websites, they can write apps, they can do a lot of things actually. So we're all looking how AI can actually change lives, either for enterprises or for consumers. So those are all hot areas overall. And do I prefer a better product or a better team? I invest in the earliest stage, and they don't tend to have no products, right? So the team is the only thing you can look for, actually. You have a prototype, you might have a prototype, you might have some bits and pieces, but you don't have full product. So the only way to invest in the earliest stage is to bet on teams. So that's figuring out the team is the biggest discussion I have with all the VC friends I have or co-investors I have. Yeah, and yeah, so I think it's teams and everything, right? Because that leads you to better products overall.